Chapter 1221 Demigod Level Vermilion Bird Sword Maiden, 5. 1221 Demigod Level Vermilion Bird Sword Maiden, 5. Roar. Seeing Kai Tong's perfect state, Buggy couldn't help but want to break through too. After it broke through, the Dragon of Imagination could let it evolve again. This time, Kai Tong had a quasi-divine skill to evolve into a faith skill, while Buggy hoped that it had a faith skill to evolve into a quasi-divine skill. This way, it wouldn't fall behind its teammates too much. It cried to death. It had said that the one who evolved first would definitely fall behind the version. Back then, it was so glorious for it to evolve into a green dragon. In the end, Kai Tong had already evolved twice in a row. One was the evolution of a god, and the other was the evolution of faith. It was still waiting in line. When Sword Maiden Kai Tong flew over, it gradually turned into the form of a sword spirit and turned into a fiery red longsword that landed in Shiyu's hand. Then, both parties entered a complete possession state, and their auras were even more terrifying. Shiyu was like a fire god that had walked out of the starry sky as he looked at the Phoenix Patriarch who had followed outside Blue Planet. Under the fiery red flames, Shiyu's Kai Tong was as dazzling as the sun. Patriarch, can you take us to crack the ruins now? This power should be enough, right? Kai Tong, who was at the demigod level, possessed Shiyu, who had eaten world, immortal, and eternal resources. At this moment, Shiyu felt that he could defeat the Phoenix Patriarch, who the Peak Empress had used all her might to defeat, in a one-on-one. There was definitely no problem. You guys, the Phoenix Race Patriarch had a shocked expression. She felt a huge pressure from Shiyu and the others. How could this be? Could it be that they had really become gods? Phoenix Race, Super God Ruins. The Phoenix Race's Patriarch, Shiyu, returned from the starry sky. Under the Phoenix Race's Patriarch's lead, Shiyu entered the meteorite-like starry sky ruins in the Red Universe. Upon seeing the ruins, Shiyu suddenly recalled that although the demigod of the Phoenix Race couldn't crack the ruins either, he had moved the entire ruin back from the universe. The ruins were dead. If there were no living creatures inside, even if he couldn't crack it, he might be able to move the ruins back to the original space and time first. There was still time in the future? This is the place. After leading Shiyu into the super ruins, Shiyu and the others seemed to have entered a petrified world. The entire world was grey. There was nothing on the petrified ground and the petrified sky. There was only a stone pillar standing in the center of the ruins. On the stone pillar was a spherical gem quietly. It was like a glass bead. On its transparent appearance, a green crescent-shaped pattern was embedded inside. Although it had yet to approach this glass bead, anyone could sense its powerful energy fluctuations that exceeded the divine level. On the stone pillar is that super divine level resource. We don't know its use at the moment, and we can't take it away. But as long as you get close, the ruined space will produce a strong rejection. Even demigods can't stop this rejection. In addition, the Phoenix Race has also confirmed that only creatures with the bloodline of the Phoenix Race can approach the stone pillar. Otherwise, there will be an even stronger rejection. The Phoenix Race Patriarch, who had turned into a few meters tall, looked at the World Tree Envoy in a fusion state beside him. Because of the possession, the current Shiyu and Kai Tong shared the Phoenix bloodline. Among them, it's not like the Phoenix Race hasn't tried letting the undead Phoenix possess a human to take away resources, but they all failed. However, this is the first time a demigod-level undead Phoenix has possessed someone. In the history of the Phoenix Race, although a demigod-level undead Phoenix has been born, we've never found a human who can withstand its possession power, let alone a human that both parties contracted. So, the Phoenix clan leader felt that this time, it might really succeed. The power on Shiyu and the others definitely crushed ordinary demigods. It was already considered an expert among demigods. However, in this state, Shiyu was still not confident. I'll give it a try. Shiyu nodded. Then, under the Phoenix Patriarch's gaze, he approached the stone pillar. The Phoenix Race Patriarch's gaze was solemn. According to her past experience, the entire ruined space should reject Shiyu and the others next. According to the speculation of the past demigods, one had to at least have divine-level power to withstand this spatial rejection. However, the next scene made the Phoenix clan leader a little at a loss. He saw Shiyu and the others approach the stone pillar step by step. The so-called spatial rejection never appeared. This situation stunned the Phoenix Patriarch. Seeing that Shiyu was getting closer and closer to the stone pillar, it began to suspect that there was a malfunction in the ruins. How is this possible? It also tried to approach, but in the next moment, a spatial repulsive force that was like divine might directly acted on this demigod, making its expression change. Boom! It retreated slightly. The huge commotion made the red-haired Shiyu in front of him turn around and say, "Are you all right? Why don't the ruins reject you?" The Phoenix Patriarch couldn't understand. What's going on? Shiyu was also very puzzled. He sensed his surroundings and indeed didn't feel any rejection power. Could it be that he had heard of his famous name in this ruin? Just as Shiyu was puzzled, something unexpected happened. The glass bead on the stone pillar suddenly emitted an even stronger light. The light kept strengthening. In the end, in mid-air of the ruins, it condensed into the phantom of a white phoenix, emitting a divine pressure. The Phoenix clan leader was still in shock and had yet to react. The super-divine resource had appeared? Chapter 1222, 1222 Demigod Level Vermilion Bird Sword Maiden, 6. 1222 Demigod Level Vermilion Bird Sword Maiden, 6. Shiyu and Kai Tong, who had possessed him, also revealed confused expressions. What was going on? Patriarch, this should be a normal reaction, right? A part of the rejection? Is there still a battle test? Test my ass. The Phoenix clan leader was shocked. This was the first time the ruins had such a reaction after their ancestor brought it back. At this moment, the light phoenix in the air was like a god. The Phoenix Patriarch judged that it was very likely to be the ancestor who left Blue Planet in the mythical era and brought back super-divine resources. At this moment, this Phoenix race ancestor seemed to have just woken up and was very tired. Shiyu and the others could sense that this phantom was no longer its real body, but a fixed program similar to illusions, mental bodies, and ruined spirits. In fact, because it had been too long, even the consciousness to think on its own had already disappeared. It was completely like an order. "I'm finally seeing you again, Lord Blue Planet." The moment the Phoenix race god spoke, it shocked the Phoenix race's patriarch. You might not be Lord Blue Planet, but you should be a member of the Phoenix race with a deep relationship with Lord Blue Planet. No matter who you are, after obtaining this resource, please hand it to Lord Blue Planet. Next, please listen to me. After leaving Blue Planet, Lord Origin Phoenix led us to the depths of the starry sky. During the long voyage, many gods sacrificed themselves, but in the end, we still successfully arrived at another civilization. Shiyu and the others were suddenly stunned as they listened to the other party seriously. Then, what made Shiyu and the others' expressions change was that this phantom was like a stutter. Its voice was blurry and it couldn't let out normal voices. #yuan% at #yuan. After a pile of characters that Shiyu and the others couldn't understand, the thought body left behind by the Phoenix Divine Spirit finally spat out the words clearly again. This stone is the key to connecting Blue Planet to a cosmic civilization. Please decide if you want to use it after careful consideration, Lord Blue Planet. Opening it might bring new life to Blue Planet, but it might also completely destroy Blue Planet. Its use is equivalent to a ruin key. It can allow the user to open a door. No matter where they are, they can directly enter another super planet. It can be seen as an interstellar teleportation tool. Not only can it teleport over, but it can also teleport back. This superplanet is a very special neutral planet in the universe. In terms of level, it exceeds you, Lord Blue Planet, by 2 growth levels. On it live the myriad races of the starry sky. Be it the cosmic behemoth, the cosmic worm, or the human race, they're only members of the myriad races of the starry sky. Their civilization level has to a certain extent already exceeded Blue Planet, which is located in a remote star area. In short, through this keystone, we can let Blue Planet and the cosmic civilization intersect. Before the two parties come into contact, we will try our best to increase the status of Blue Planet races in the universe. Its opening method. 2% yuan at % yuan %. Bang! This phantom was like an old and broken machine. As it spoke, it directly shattered. Shiyu and the Phoenix Race Patriarch? F*CK? Shiyu directly cursed. Finish F*King speaking. After saying that, then it could be scrapped. The Phoenix Phantom was completely destroyed, but the suppression of the ruined space did not completely disappear. The Phoenix Patriarch was still rejected by the ruins, but Shiyu could still advance easily until he picked up the so-called keystone in confusion. After the words just now, Shiyu was stunned. The Phoenix race said that cracking this ruin required divine-level battle power. Therefore, before he entered, he let Kai Tong break through first. In the end, what he wanted was not divine-level battle power, but Blue Planet's direct descendant identity. You? This thing is indeed as you said. It's very important to Blue Planet. At this moment, when he heard that the Phantom of the Phoenix Divine Spirit had confirmed Shiyu's identity, the Phoenix Patriarch, who originally trusted Shiyu 99%, could be said to have directly reached 100% trust. It hit the jackpot. Shiyu's pile of poofs had been verified. Shiyu held the keystone in silence. A teleportation device to another superplanet in the universe? Are you serious? Chapter 1223, 1223 Space Emperor and Evolution Legendary, 1. 1223 Space Emperor and Evolution Legendary, 1. In the Phoenix Race ruins, Shiyu, who was holding the keystone, looked at the Phoenix Race Patriarch. It meant, look! I knew it. I have an official identity. Moreover, this keystone was extremely important. It was left behind by the Phoenix Race's ancestor for Blue Planet's great resistance. The lies were all made up. Could it be that Ling was assisting again? Shiyu felt that he had made an impressive discovery in this archaeology test. The original space and time, this keystone, had undoubtedly been snatched away by the two unlucky things, the Phoenix Race Patriarch and the Empress. Fortunately, he could transmigrate back to the ancient parallel space. Otherwise, it would really be an unjust account. Lord Envoy, the Phoenix Race Patriarch had mixed feelings. What a pity, Shiyu said. The most important information was lost. It's been too long, but if I bring it back to repair Blue Planet's will, there might be a possibility of emergency treatment. The Phoenix clan leader, I understand. Although this high and mighty Phoenix Race Patriarch also wanted to obtain the right to hold the keystone and take a look at a higher starry sky world, he also knew that this thing was not something it could grasp. However, it believed that as long as it followed Blue Planet's footsteps, it and the Phoenix race would definitely benefit the most in the future. After all, this thing was brought back by the Phoenix race ancestor. The Phoenix race god was working hard in the universe. How could the Blue Planets will mistreat the descendants of the Phoenix race here? At this moment, the Phoenix race's patriarch had already made up his mind to follow the world's will well and develop steadily with Shiyu. Next, I'll take this keystone away. In addition, prepare to head to Dong Huang to form an alliance with Princess Huangxi. I feel that the key to opening the interstellar passage might be on humans. Otherwise, why would Goddess Wa bring humans back? Shiyu continued to deceive Puff. I see. The more the Phoenix race patriarch thought about it, the clearer it became. Her eyes lit up, and then her expression darkened. Unfortunately, her stupid sister had originally grabbed the right direction, but she went astray. The next Phoenix race couldn't take the wrong path. They had to get along with the humans according to the will of the world. There's one more thing. Shiyu returned to the starting point and exited the energy-consuming possession form. The sword spirit, Kai Tong, floated beside Shiyu in the form of a sword. Shiyu said to the Phoenix clan leader with a weak expression, in order to let you believe our identities just now, I consumed a lot of energy. We came out in a hurry and didn't bring much food. Kai Tong was also hungry. Was this the power of a demigod? It was too hungry. It now understood Foodie 11 a little. The Phoenix race patriarch was stunned. Sorry, I actually forgot to entertain the envoy. I'll get my clansmen to prepare food now. I'll definitely let you return full. Shiyu revealed a satisfied smile. This Phoenix was worth teaching. The next pause made the Phoenix race patriarch's heart bleed. It wasn't too much to say that the Phoenix race of Phoenix Island was a huge faction comparable to Dragon Palace City. Such a faction naturally had a huge amount of internal resources. Divine-level resources and legendary-level resources were everything. However, the Phoenix race's patriarch discovered that even so, they still couldn't afford to entertain a god like Shiyu. Patriarch, they finished the new legendary food again. As the Phoenix race prepared the gift to establish diplomatic relations with the Empress, they served Shiyu food. In a short period of time, the resource reserves quickly decreased. What, it's finished again? The Phoenix clan leader was shocked. A wood element totem Phoenix cried and said, Patriarch, that's at least 6 creatures who have mastered quasi-divine skills. They can all be seen as demigods. Not to mention us, I'm afraid no faction can afford their appetite. Fortunately, it's just a day's meal. Next time. I can't entertain them anymore. Otherwise, Phoenix Island will definitely be eaten up. The Phoenix race patriarch was silent and said, I understand, but try your best to let them eat well. Logically speaking, with the gift of Blue Planet, the envoy of the World Tree shouldn't have come to the Phoenix race to freeload, right? No, it wasn't to freeload. Perhaps it was purely because the Phoenix race was too weak now and couldn't afford to entertain the other party. The Phoenix patriarch's heart was depressed. At the same time, Shiyu and the others, who were freeloading, completed this spatial travel perfectly. Not only did he obtain the resources, but Kai Tong's clone also completed the evolution of the Vermilion bird and changed the history of the Phoenix race and the Empress dynasty perishing together in the future. It could be said that it could return perfectly. However, the archaeological results this time made Shiyu very conflicted. The keystone that connected to another superplanet. If that superplanet was regarded as a large ruined space, then this, like the ruins prop, was a login device. However, it was different from ordinary ruins props. Ordinary methods couldn't activate it at all. The usage method was lost. Forget it, even if he didn't lose it, Shiyu didn't dare to try it easily. What if this thing broke over time? What if it couldn't return after the teleportation? Even if that Phoenix said that it could teleport back and forth, it was still a huge pit for people who didn't master the usage method. Shiyu decided to take it back and study it first. Phoenix Empire. After Empress Huangshi succeeded the throne, she had been using lightning methods to gather the power of the empire. However, in the short term, it was still unlikely for the Phoenix Empire to change its name to the Dong Huang dynasty and become the Human Empire. After all, the empire was troubled internally and externally now, and there were many things to deal with. Chapter 1224, 1224 Space Emperor and Evolution Legendary, 2. 1224 Space Emperor and Evolution Legendary, 2. Even if the Empress wanted to incorporate the Eastern humans, she would need to work hard for a long time. Now, a well-known enemy of the Phoenix Empire was the Phoenix race of Phoenix Island. Although ordinary people didn't know about the small-scale conflict between the Phoenix Empire and Phoenix Island, the human experts and totem creatures in the East knew very well. Before the Empress displayed strength comparable to the Phoenix race, not many people were willing to join a country with huge war-hidden dangers. In the Phoenix Palace, Empress Huangshi looked into the distance in silence. She had always been very worried about Shiyu going to Phoenix Island. Previously, when the dual sun phenomenon appeared in the sky, she suspected that something had happened to Phoenix Island. Sister Empress. Just as the Empress's thoughts were heavy, a voice entered her ears, making her face darken. However, at the same time, she was delighted. She looked at the sky. This voice appeared in her heart and belonged to telepathy. A moment later, the Empress rose into the sky and looked at Shiyu and the others sitting on the cloud, as well as a pile of round Shiyu pets. You guys? She looked stunned. Wait a minute, What was going on with them? She looked at Shiyu, 11, the big worm, and the others who had become fatter. She suspected that Shiyu had gone to roast and eat all the phoenixes of the phoenix race. This is for you. Shiyu threw out a bottle that contained a drop of water. Shiyu said, I've already negotiated with the phoenix race. From today onwards, the phoenix race is an ally of the Donghuang human race. This is the entire process of me talking to them. Digest it and wait for the phoenix race to visit. As for me, I might have to leave. I might return, or I might not return. What? When Shiyu finished speaking, the Empress was in disbelief. The phoenix race was resolved just like that? At the same time, Shiyu's other words instantly made the Empress very concerned. Leave? You won't come back. What do you mean? The literal meaning is that you should understand after digesting these memories. If you don't return, it means that we've gone to explore a higher realm. Shiyu smiled. Shiyu believed that without the threat of the phoenix race, as a hybrid legendary, it wasn't impossible for the Empress to live until the mythical revival 1,000 years later. With the Empress presiding over Donghuang in this space and time, he was relieved. In the next moment, the Empress received Shiyu's memories as a World Tree envoy and memories of the Phoenix race's superdivine ruins. She knew what Shiyu's identity and the superdivine resources of the Phoenix race were. Just like the Phoenix race patriarch, she was extremely shocked. Shiyu also left and began to digest his gains in this space and time. After a long time, the Empress looked at Shiyu and the others' disappearing backs. In the end, she returned to the Phoenix Palace in silence and waited for the Phoenix race to arrive. For a period of time, Shiyu secretly paid attention to the entire process of the Empress dynasty and the Phoenix race successfully establishing diplomatic relations. When the spatial rejection reached the maximum, they were teleported back to the original space and time by the awakened Qi. However, after leaving, Shiyu kept feeling that he had forgotten something. Only when he saw the pair of golden-winged rock wings in the ruins did Shiyu remember that there were still 3 legendary resources that he had yet to ask the Garuda Empire for. What a big loss! On the ocean, Shiyu, who was rushing back to Donghuang, let out a heart-wrenching cry. Ling, why didn't you remind me? Ling, after eating so many legendary resources in the Phoenix race, haven't you eaten enough? No matter how small a mosquito is, it's still meat. Ling, it's indeed my mistake. Looks like there's still a bug in intelligence. It might have to be raised to transcendent to be able to calculate everything. The next one to break through to the demigod level can be me. Shiyu waved his hand and said with a dark expression, stop tricking me. Next, let Buggy do it. If there's no special situation like the Phoenix race ruins, our breakthrough order will be according to the order of entry into the team. Don't fight between any of you. It's fair. Kai Tong was an accident this time. It was definitely not because of the treatment of a biological daughter. G? As Shiyu finished speaking, on the cloud, Buggy cried and crawled out of the cotton cloud. Look, what did it hear? This was the most humane thing it had heard from Shiyu this year. G! Buggy pounced on Shiyu with tears streaming down its face. Beast Tamer. Love you. All right. Ling said helplessly, this is also good. We can strengthen the spatial strength in advance. All right, let me see the message first, Shiyu said. It had been a few days since Shiyu and the others transmigrated. All kinds of information had been stored. Among them, there was a pile of trash information. For example, Teacher L had gotten to know a few beautiful dragons, beautiful butterflies, and beautiful moths, wanting to introduce them to Buggy. It was obvious that he had ill intentions and wanted to manually promote the success of the prophecy. Shiyu decisively deleted it. Buggy didn't need love. He had to let the owl predict one wrong prophecy. The prophecy was all correct. Shiyu was afraid that it would become arrogant. However, when he saw the owl, Shiyu suddenly wanted to change direction. Let's go to the capital first. Ling, call Teacher Ying and let it come too. We'll use the dual divine skills to assist in premonition and let Teacher Owl predict the relevant information about the super divine resource brought back. With a physical medium, its prediction accuracy can also be higher. All right. Ling nodded. Chapter 1225, 1225 Space Emperor and Evolution Legendary, 3. 1225 Space Emperor and Evolution Legendary, 3. Before he studied the teleportation keystone, Shiyu thought of letting the gem cat use the wishing divine skill. Ling would use the luck divine skill to assist the owl in predicting its information. As long as there was a trace, it could save them a lot of research energy. In the sky above the capital. When Shiyu and the others arrived at Imperial Capital University, they happened to meet the gem cat that Ling had shaken over. The cat girl rubbed her temples and looked at Shiyu and the others. Why are you using my skill again when you just returned? You're busy. What's the matter this time? On the cloud, Shiyu looked at the cat girl who had changed into a suit and said happily, Teacher Ying, you're wearing pretty formal clothes. The cat girl in the suit said calmly, that's true. I'm the sect master cat of the Gem Financial Group now. My super multinational corporation is about to officially operate. When I earn big money, you won't have to worry about food and drink. Shiyu's face darkened. This guy was really doing this. Was he trying to snatch business from the Blue Planet Alliance? The Gem Cat, hey, what kind of expression is that? This is also under the Blue Planet Alliance. It's legal. Shiyu said, that's good. Didn't I go to the sunken Phoenix Island to do archaeology according to the memories of the undying Dark Phoenix? The Gem Cat nodded. Yes, so? Then, I obtained some trinkets, but there was too little relevant information. I needed to rely on premonition ability to provide some clues. Shiyu also decided to replicate Teacher Owl's future prediction this time. It was too troublesome to keep looking for it to predict the future. However, Shiyu kept feeling that Teacher Owl's future prediction was more accurate than normal future prediction. Other premonition pets weren't as fierce as it. Overlords could predict demigods. If he predicted it himself, it might not necessarily have such an effect. Unfortunately, the owl didn't react at all when it fed the owl the reincarnation fruit, making Shiyu, who thought that it was the reincarnation of a god, give up on this guess. Perhaps it was really just that Teacher Owl was talented and had gained enlightenment. Otherwise, there were higher-level secrets hidden on it. Ooh? You really gained something. At this moment, the Gem Cat was slightly stunned. It felt surprised, but not that surprised. She sighed. Forget it, she should have known. The ruins that Shiyu had targeted definitely had to be tested before he would stop. Yeah, let's go. Shiyu smiled. The territory of the Prediction Owl was still the capital, but at this moment, as its identity leveled up, it had already moved away from the Imperial Capital University. With its current totem-level identity, it was already the National Guardian. It was a little wasteful to predict this and that prophecy for its students. It was directly assigned a mystic realm under the arrangements of the association. When Shiyu and the others arrived, Teacher Owl had already come out enthusiastically to welcome them. Shiyu! Did you bring Brother Green Dragon Buggy for a blind date? Grandma Owl's sharp voice was filled with joy. She was especially happy to see Shiyu and the others arrive. Don't even think about it. Buggy doesn't need to date. Dating will only affect its speed of becoming stronger, Shiyu said. Come, help me predict an item. The owl's expression turned bitter. Woo! Speaking of which, Shiyu, your team won't be single for the rest of their lives, right? You too. Shiyu, aren't you too? The owl. The Gem Cat girl said, hurry, old witch, predict it first. Hurry up. Time is money. I know. Come, what do you want to predict this time? The Prediction Owl said. Shiyu and the others followed into the mystic realm. First, they gave the Prediction Owl a bunch of buffs. Then, Shiyu threw out the keystone he had obtained from parallel space. At this moment, as Shiyu took out this special super gem, the Gem Cat girl's eyes widened. It's a trash stone. Don't mind it, Shiyu said. The Gem Cat girl, nonsense. You went to dig gems yourself behind my back again. Woo 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 woo. This can't be the super divine resource the Undying Dark Phoenix mentioned, right? Didn't it lose it with the Empress and the others? Where did you find it? You're too ridiculous. This thing, the Prediction Owl had a serious expression. It could tell that this resource was extraordinary and that there were complicated traces of time flowing on its body. It took a deep breath. It didn't know if it could successfully predict the relevant information. Shiyu said, I want to know if its usage method can help predict where the opportunity for us to obtain its usage method is in the future. If it really doesn't work, any relevant information is fine. I'll give it a try, the Prediction Owl said. The hexagram in front of his chest glowed slightly. He looked at the keystone in front of him and closed his eyes. Then, it spoke. Well, why does your prediction feel strange? Super divine level resource. Damn it, I, the Owl Overlord, can predict demigods. Now that I've reached the totem level and with 2 divine skill buffs, I can definitely predict transcendent level. The heavens didn't give birth to me, the owl, the Prediction Owl encouraged itself as it predicted. Shiyu and the others looked at the owl solemnly. Then, the owl's expression suddenly froze. After being stunned, it right on the heels of shouting that it was impossible. In the dark premonition scene, the Prediction Owl seemed to be racing. Its vision shuttled crazily, as if it had passed through the cosmic starry sky and arrived at another planet. At the same time, the energy on its body was also crazily consumed. In the end, it saw 2 figures. These 2 figures were sometimes blurry and sometimes clear. The Prediction Owl saw a pile of similar rocks in front of them. The Prediction Owl believed in these 2 figures and definitely wasn't wrong. Space Emperor, Lin Feng legendary. How can it be them? It was the legendary Emperor of Donghuang, the Space Emperor, who had already disappeared in the starry sky of the universe, and the legendary beast tamer of Donghuang, Lin Feng, who had also suddenly disappeared. Moreover, the vast divine power on their bodies made the Prediction Owl feel that it far exceeded the legendary, demigod, and even demigod-level reincarnation gods it had seen. These 2 figures were not the past Space Emperor and Lin Feng, but the current or future Space Emperor and Lin Feng. The Prediction Owl was very certain. It shouted in disbelief. At the same time, its feathers quickly withered, and its aura kept weakening, as if it had aged dozens of years. Its life aura disappeared very quickly, faster than any premonition in the past. Holy shit, the Space Emperor and Lin Feng are still alive and might have broken through to the divine level. They're on another planet. They also have a stone like you. Chapter 1226, 1226 Space, 1. 1226 Space, 1. The owl's premonition this time completely exceeded Shiyu's expectations. Emperor Kong and legendary Lin Feng were still alive? Moreover, it broke through to the divine level. Moreover, they also had a pile of similar rocks in their hands. Legendaries like the Space Emperor and Lin Feng, who had not disappeared in battle and were relatively close to the modern era, were still alive in a certain place. Shiyu was actually not very surprised. However, if the owl said that they were on another planet and also held the teleportation keystone, Shiyu would be overthinking. Hey, what are you talking about? The Gem Cat girl was also stunned. Why did he predict the usage method to the Space Emperor and Lin Feng? Was the beast tamer of the Void Mantis really still alive? And that legendary Feng? Cough, the owl interrupted them and lay on the ground on the verge of death. Before it could say the word save, a ginseng baby had already started to save it. Teacher Owl, hold on. Shiyu said. The owl, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Don't worry, with my rich EXP consumption, with the supplements of the ginseng baby, you can recover in less than half a month. The owl's vision darkened. After a while, it was pulled back by baby ginseng and sat on the ground. It widened its eyes while panting and felt a lingering fear. Damn it, it looked at the teleportation keystone in horror and decided not to predict this thing anymore. Yi! Baby Ginseng made the owl believe in its technology. Shiyu fell into deep thought beside him. In his mind, he recalled what the owl had just said. Could it be that after the Space Emperor and Lin Feng disappeared, they went to this super planet that the teleportation keystone led to? They also had the teleportation keystone in their hands. Did this mean that the gods had not only brought back one keystone, but a pile? Many missing legendaries and demigods left through this method. No, according to the description, this keystone could return. Why didn't they return again? Even if Blue Planet couldn't withstand the divine level at the moment, they shouldn't have broken through to the divine level just after arriving at other planets, right? As long as a returnee left behind information, Blue Planet wouldn't be completely ignorant about that super planet at the moment. Shiyu got Ling to analyze it. Although he instantly analyzed many possibilities, he couldn't be very certain of any of them. However, what was certain was that if Shiyu went out to wander the starry sky one day, perhaps he could encounter the Space Emperor and Lin Feng. I feel that Teacher Owl still predicted loneliness. In the end, I still can't confirm the opening method of the teleportation keystone. In the depths of the universe, on a high-level planet, a handsome and elegant man met another young man who looked very weak in the sky. Lin Feng. Seeing the young man's enfeebled appearance, the handsome man said calmly, "You're working too hard." The young man named Lin Feng smiled and said, "The consumption of deducing the super divine level evolution path is too huge. It can't be helped." Senior Space Emperor, you also sensed it, right? Someone is deducing our traces of existence. The one with this ability should be a super divine level god, right? I wonder if it's friend or foe. That's not important. The main point is that there's still no news of the mother planet on Kai's planet. No, could it be that an accident happened to them? Logically speaking, they should have already sent the keystone to their home planet at this time. Lin Feng felt that it was strange. It can't be helped. Let's wait a little longer. I wonder how Dong Huang is now under the governance of Old Man Divine Source, Lin Feng sighed. Emperor Kong said, if there's no news in a year, join forces with them and send out another team. We have to contact Blue Planet before the revival of the laws of Blue Planet. The Space Emperor looked at the starry sky and fell into memories. He wondered what had become of Blue Planet. Back then, when he explored the starry sky, he accidentally entered the universe void and was teleported to an extremely far place from Blue Planet. After working hard and breaking through to the divine level, he realized that this was the center of the universe. Only then did he see an even vaster world. Unfortunately, he couldn't go back now. Even if he broke through to the divine level and contracted 10 spatial divine beasts, it was still difficult for him to return to his mother planet. Although it was a pity, there was nothing he could do. However, to the Space Emperor's surprise, he also discovered the faction left behind by the gods of the Blue Planet's mythical era in the center of the universe. Dragon Race, Phoenix Race, Angel Race, Demon Race. Many gods from Blue Planet had already left their traces in the universe. It was even to the extent that the leader among them had already exceeded the divine level. However, even so, it was still difficult for these gods to return to Blue Planet. Firstly, the laws of that starry sky had been broken and couldn't withstand their existence. Secondly, the consumption of the return trip was too huge. It was difficult to lock onto the location, and the return cost-effective ratio wasn't high. There was nothing worth staying for on Blue Planet anymore. After the baptism of time, these large races had even long forgotten that their mother planet was Blue Planet. Most of the initial batch of gods had already died. These could only be considered descendants. It could be said that although he had come into contact with them, the Space Emperor didn't feel the friendship of being from the same hometown from them. Only when hundreds of years passed did another kid named Lin Feng, who claimed to be from Dong Huang, find him did the Space Emperor learn that he wasn't the only one who had accidentally transmigrated from Blue Planet to the depths of the universe. Chapter 1227, 1227 Space, 2. 1227 Space, 2. This person named Lin Feng had better talent than him. Unfortunately, Lin Feng had also lost the direction of Blue Planet like him. Compared to the divine factions of the mythical era, the Space Emperor and Lin Feng had a deeper obsession with Blue Planet, or rather, Dong Huang. As they became stronger, they also searched for a way to return. After their hard work, they indeed found a way. Even the gods of the Blue Planet's mythical era had tried this method, but there was basically no result, so they left it at that. In the universe, above the divine level was the super-divine level, and above the super-divine level was the cosmic level. In the starry sky of the universe, there were a total of 5 cosmic life forms, 4 cosmic emperors, and a cosmic overlord. Among the 4 cosmic emperors, one was a cosmic planetary life form. It was the only super-planet in the universe. This planet could be said to be the most prosperous place in the universe. Many cosmic races that could gallop through the universe had something similar to a ruined stone. It was equivalent to the coordinates of a spatial teleportation array. They could freely teleport to this planet or freely teleport back to their mother planet. Back then, the Blue Planet gods who entered the universe had tried to send the rare teleportation stone back to their mother planet and build the connection between Blue Planet and the universe through this stone. However, it was unknown if it had failed to return or if Blue Planet had given up on connecting to the universe. There was still no news of Blue Planet. As the teleportation keystone was also a very precious treasure, and the price of returning to Blue Planet was too high, the gods who left Blue Planet didn't try many times. In fact, the Space Emperor and Lin Feng didn't know very well what these gods had done. After all, it had been too long. It was already very difficult to see the initial gods. They had all returned to dust and earth. Not many had lost their lives in pursuit of higher realms. The starry sky of the universe was even more of a cruel battlefield. Now, as the time for the revival of the Blue Planet's laws approached, the Space Emperor and Lin Feng started the second return plan. They found the large races that walked out of Blue Planet and joined forces with them to find Blue Planet's coordinates. They sent a team to send a new batch of teleportation keystones to Blue Planet. This time, the Blue Planet faction was very cooperative. Firstly, it was mainly the Space Emperor and Lin Feng who contributed. The second was because Lin Feng had received the blessings of the World Tree and confirmed that the revival of the laws on Blue Planet was in the near future. The factions of Blue Planet weren't doing well in the universe either. If Blue Planet could recover to the foundation of the mythical era and connect to a cosmic civilization, take another step forward and become a high-level planet, as direct descendants of Blue Planet, they could also obtain more benefits. Both parties hit it off and carried out a new contact Mother Planet plan together. They were already waiting for the arrival of the Blue Planet rookies on the cosmic planet, World King Planet. Now, these factions from Blue Planet only hoped that the newbies from Blue Planet would have better talent and replenish their new blood. They didn't have high requirements either. They were already satisfied if their talent was comparable to the Space Emperor and Lin Feng, 2 humans who had walked out of Blue Planet. These Blue Planet factions could be said to be extremely surprised that Blue Planet had actually started to nurture humans. Was it a human seed brought back by a god? Humans were also very special races in the starry sky of the universe. Although their ranking among the 10,000 races in the starry sky was not high, for some special reasons, the position of humans in the universe was irreplaceable. All the races in the starry sky were basically related to humans. They grew together in a one-on-one equal contract. Even Universe Overlord who destroyed planets rarely destroyed human planets. Ordinary people didn't know why. Blue Planet. After leaving the owl, Shiyu returned to Ping Cheng to slack off and not let himself think too much. It was useless to think too much. After all, he hadn't even reached the maximum level of the current version of Blue Planet. He wasn't qualified to explore the starry sky at all. His own beast-taming level was still 1 level away from level 9. Among his pets, only 11 and Kai Tong had reached the demigod level. Susu was barely considered half. Moreover, even 11 and Kai Tong had yet to reach the pinnacle of the demigod level. After all, quasi-divine skills could still continue to add points. Only when the points were perfect could they be considered to have advanced to the divine level. Ling, I'll leave it to you. There's no hurry to study this thing. Just leave it to the clone to tinker with. After returning, Shiyu threw the teleportation keystone to Ling. Right on the heels of that, under the angry expression of Ling's clone, he pulled Ling's main body to see the situation of the three new pets. Turtle, little quass snake, and dwarf cat. A candidate pet for the black tortoise and white tiger cultivation plan. Now that he had the green dragon and the vermilion bird, Shiyu felt that it was time to put the other two on the agenda. At the moment, after Shiyu used the legendary ruins to seal Yunnan, these three guys had all moved to Little Purple Star World to train. Little Purple was a planetary life form, the son of the stars. Now that it had reached the Overlord level, it was completely no problem to put the Commander-level turtle, Little Quass, and Transcendent-level short-legged cat into its inner world. After the inner world reached perfect proficiency, it was basically no problem to put a life form that was also at the Overlord level into the inner world. Under Shiyu's additional points, Little Purple's world upper limit had long been raised to the Overlord level. Shiyu could also enter. At the moment, although Little Purple was only an Overlord-level life form, the growth effect in Little Purple's inner world had already exceeded ordinary legendary ruins. The Son of the Stars race could be said to be very awesome and exciting. Chapter 1228, 1228 Space, 3. 1228 Space, 3. M.I. After being summoned by Shiyu, Little Purple curled into a ball and rubbed against Shiyu's hand. It looked at Shiyu eagerly and asked when it could participate in the battle. Shiyu smiled bitterly at this question. What did 11 and the others instill in this guy again? M.I. Little Z looked serious. It didn't want to be beaten up like Blue Planet. No hurry, no hurry. You'll only be considered an adult when you reach the divine level. It's still too early. In fact, in the beginning, Shiyu only wanted to nurture Little Z as a support. A planetary life form was only a support in the first place. Generally speaking, planetary life forms had three common race skills: Inner World, World Power, and World Blessing. The first move was to increase the size of the inner world and the upper limit of one's level. It was not used in battle. It was a cultivation-type skill, similar to the upgrade of the beast taming space. It was a proper support skill. Second, the power of the world could mobilize the various natural powers, the power of the void, the power of faith, the power of laws, and many other power systems in the inner world to attack. This was indeed the attack method of a planetary life form, but the problem was that it was easy to transfer it out, but it was difficult to replenish it. Back then, Blue Planet also participated in the War of the Mythical Era. Apart from being related to the battle of other divine-level creatures, Blue Planet also participated in the war. Without the help of Blue Planet, the chances of the life on Blue Planet defeating the three invaders were very small. After this battle, Blue Planet consumed a lot of energy and would only recover after recuperating for countless years. One could imagine the price of a planetary life form consuming the power of its world. At the moment, Little Z had just entered the Overlord level. Its absorption of external nutrition was already comparable to a totem. When it reached the totem level, its consumption would probably be comparable to the divine level. If it weren't for the fact that it also had more feedback to beast tamers, Shiyu definitely wouldn't be able to afford to raise this guy in the future. Therefore, although there were attack methods, this attack couldn't be used easily. The higher the level, the more it couldn't be used. Using a little would cause the weather in the inner world to change and a natural disaster to appear. This was very unfriendly to the life in the body. Therefore, ordinary planetary life forms cultivated the lives in their bodies. Like a beast tamer, they let the lives born in their bodies harvest resources in their place to protect themselves. This way, their consumption could be reduced to the minimum. Only if they had no choice would the planet life form attack themselves. It was precisely because of this that Shiyu didn't want Little Z to fight too. His family was really at a loss. Third, the World Blessing. This was also a cultivation method for planetary life forms. It could bring various magical strengthenings to other lives. For example, the World Tree Blessing Shiyu received was a type of World Blessing. The effect of this world's blessing depended on the direction of the planet's upgrade. For example, the cultivation system of the star continent in Little Purple's body mainly cultivated the power of faith of the four holy beasts. Therefore, Little Purple could also mobilize the power of faith of the four holy beasts and give birth to various blessings. For example, providing Buggy with the power of faith, or giving it Black Tortoise and White Tiger blessings when the turtle, Little Quass, and Shorty trained in its body. This way, they could evolve faster in this direction. From the three skills, planetary life forms were not very suitable for their own battles. Therefore, Shiyu had never nurtured Little Purple as a combatant. However, Shiyu should have expected it long ago. There would definitely be a problem if he handed Little Purple to 11, Buggy, and the others to train their resistance. Shiyu could only temporarily suppress Little Purple's battle desire. At least, the battle skills he could come into contact with now were not suitable for the life forms on Little Purple's planet to learn. Just like Chi, it couldn't learn anything. Shiyu could only wait until he went to the starry sky in the future to see if there were any planet battle skills suitable for Little Purple to learn that didn't affect him. At that time, he would replicate their skills. For example, what the Phoenix God had said about a superplanet that exceeded Blue Planet by 2 levels. Shiyu had already started to look forward to whether it had any super divine planet skills. Master, beside him, Ling saw Shiyu begin to smile unconsciously again. It was suddenly distracted and was very helpless. It kept feeling that Shiyu would definitely have Alzheimer's when he was old. Cough. Shiyu patted his face and looked at Little Purple floating in front of him. In the next period of time, I'll add points to Little Purple to the peak of the Overlord level first and personally supervise the resistance training of Turtle, Little Quass, and the Shorty. I feel that I should be able to contract a new demigod when the time comes, right? Shiyu asked Ling. Ling nodded and said, it's about the same. Little Purple, let me ask you. What's the equivalent of adding 3 by 47 points? Next, it's your turn to add points again. Am I? 1221 times. Little Z revealed a bitter expression. It wanted to add points again. Although it also liked it, it had to control itself. It might have the most complicated emotions towards adding points in the team. Because as soon as it came up, it added some super skills. Accompanied by the comfortable feeling of leveling up and the huge affliction, it was painful and happy. Unlike 11 and the others, who had the joy of laying the foundation for a bunch of low-level skills. The race level was too high, and there were no trash skills. The consequence of not being able to learn trash skills was that there was a resistance requirement from the start. Shiyu, 1221? Ling, did you teach Little Purple how to count well? Ling, if it really doesn't work, let's empower it through the memory water drop. I can't teach it anymore. Shiyu slapped his forehead. Sigh, it must be that the nutrition of Blue Planet sap was not enough and did not lay the foundation for Little Purple. Why was its planetary life form still a bottom feeder, even inferior to Little G's basic intelligence? Little Z, am I? Did it calculate wrongly? Did it calculate wrongly? It started to argue solemnly. 3 times 47. 3 times 4 is equal to 12, 3 times 7 is equal to 21, 1221. That's right. Chapter 1229, 1229 Dragon Palace Rebellion, 1. 1229 Dragon Palace Rebellion, 1. In the inner world of the Son of the Stars, Little Purple, there were 3 otherworldly islands in the star continent. It was called Turtle Island, Snake Island, and Cat Island. Shiyu's 3 clones were trainers. They were respectively on the island, accompanying Turtle, Little Quass Snake, and Shorty to train their resistance. His main body was working overtime in the outside world. As he added points to Little Purple, he meditated and cultivated. At the moment, the star world in Little Purple's body was developing pretty well. Although Shiyu didn't understand in detail, he also knew that a monarch-level life form and several commander-level life forms had already been born inside. As Little Purple broke through, the native lives of the star continent obtained many benefits. However, what was more speechless was that high-level lives were all wild beasts. Not long after the cultivation era began in Little Z's body, the evolution speed of wild beasts began to far exceed that of humans. Although humans could also cultivate the power of totems and strengthen themselves, the strongest at the moment had yet to exceed the transcendent level. Just like the humans on Blue Planet, compared to transcendent lives, their battle power was very weak. They just had some insignificant special abilities. This made Shiyu feel that there was something wrong with the laws of the universe. Why was it so targeted at humans? This was even the result of Little Z taking extra care of humans. Otherwise, humans would probably have long been destroyed by transcendent beasts. Shiyu also felt that this couldn't continue, so he got Little Purple to change the cultivation system of humans. It was still that humans could sign a contract with transcendent lives. Moreover, the growth of transcendent lives could feed back to human stats and accelerate human cultivation speed. This way, the growth of the humans in the star continent might be smoother. While Shiyu was working overtime, Shiyu's other pets were not idle either. In the second beast taming space, Little G and Ducky gathered together and played Gomoku to determine the winner. In the beast taming space, there was not allowed to be too much commotion. As time passed, the martial arts battle could only become a literary battle. In any case, it was equivalent to training their intelligence. Should have a higher success rate after reaching transcendent proficiency. For Buggy's breakthrough, Shiyu and the others could be said to be fully armed. Baby Ginseng had long run to Shiyu and connected its life to Shiyu's to prevent Shiyu from dying. In the starry sky, 11, Kai Tong, Susu, Ling, and the others also looked at Buggy in disdain. Although Buggy shouted that it would evolve first and that there was definitely nothing good about breaking through first, it was more excited than anyone to break through to the demigod level first. No one was willing to give in to the order. Roar! Beast Tamer, charge! Charge! Buggy said excitedly. Then I'll start, Shiyu said. Roar! In the meteorite group, the green dragon Buggy's golden eyes filled with light as it roared and nodded. Boom! In the next moment, a terrifying dragon might erupted from Shiyu's body. His black eyes also turned into golden eyes. Psychic domain, green dragon domain. Apart from that, Shiyu also directly activated mental resonance and connected his and Buggy's hearts. This way, it could better assist Buggy in breaking through and evolving through the power of points. Who? Shiyu prepared to add points with one hand and used the illusory book of skills with the other to open the furnace page of skill fusion. Dragon of Imagination. Increase points. Boom! As Shiyu added points, Buggy's aura rose steadily. Energy surged in its entire body, and it was filled with the light of upgrade. At the same time, Shiyu had also tried to drag skills that had reached transcendent into the skill fusion interface many times. Skill, Imagination Domain, Dream Control, for Holy Clones, Queen Mother's Power. Fusion Success Rate, low. Fusion Risk, high. The success rate of these for skills was low, but if all four of them fused, there was also a low success rate. Shiyu couldn't help but be speechless. However, when he saw this scene, the current Shiyu only had madness in his eyes. It was the madness of a gambler. Ha 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 ha, is this the peak of level 8? What if it reaches level 9? Shiyu laughed crazily, making 11 and the others speechless. Kai Tong, Baby Ginseng, Susu, Ling, Little Purple, get ready. With Shiyu's command, many pets prepared to support and add points. Now, Little Z's World Blessing skill had also reached Perfect plus 47. It was completely not inferior to the super support of other pets. Not only could it assist Buggy's evolution through the power of faith, but it could also give Shiyu blessings and reduce his burden. Roar! At the same time, Buggy began to stop suppressing its strength and completely activated the power of the transcendent level Dragon of Imagination, allowing itself to advance to a more perfect green dragon image. This time, the evolution materials Shiyu prepared for Buggy were similar to the evolution materials of Kai Tong's Vermilion Bird clone. They were faith items he had gathered from various spaces. The power of faith inside. Boom! Under the lead of the power of skill upgrade, the power of skill fusion, and the power of faith of the green dragon, the energy on Buggy's body became more and more terrifying. Like a self-destructing ginseng baby, its energy level kept expanding. Ah! Roar! Under the light of the green-gold breakthrough evolution that illuminated the starry sky, Shiyu and Buggy let out heart-wrenching affliction sounds at the same time. Even with the support of baby ginseng, Susu, and many other pets, it was quite difficult this time. Of course, this was the first time he was fusing with a top-notch super skill. Shiyu didn't care about the affliction anymore. As long as he saw Buggy become stronger, he felt that everything was worth it. In this evolution, Shiyu sensed that Buggy's form had actually not changed much. The greatest change was its size. Under the full multiplication eruption, the shocking body of a cosmic life form that was tens of thousands of meters tall occupied the outside of the star. It was as if the power of a claw was enough to destroy a city. A terrifying aura swept through the starry sky for 50,000 kilometers. Roar! Of course, the benefits of Shiyu's evolution breakthrough at the cost of his old age and white hair were far more than this. Boom! Under the lingering power of faith, it was like the sound of the world trembling. With Buggy's body as the plane, the entire starry sky seemed to have been torn apart and opened, developing the ground and sky, forming a new world. In the blink of an eye, 11, Kai Tong, and the others were shocked to discover that there were no longer any traces of the starry sky around them. They seemed to have entered another space. This space was extremely real. The feeling it gave 11 and the others didn't feel like Buggy's imagination domain. Among them, baby ginseng in Shiyu's arms widened its eyes in surprise. It had discovered that its world gray skill could actually borrow the power of the world from this place. It was as if this was really a complete world. After all, after leaving Blue Planet and arriving at the starry sky, its world gray skill couldn't be used anymore. What was going on now? In the desolate world, the world had just opened and was endless. At some point in time, clouds had condensed and spring rain fell. Every drop of spring rain stimulated a weak sound of laws. The sound shocked the heart, but it gently nourished the ground. When it dripped on the soil, 1,000-kilometer-long green grass, flowers, and saplings grew out of the soil. During their growth, the sound of wood element life laws intertwined with the sound of water. In the clouds, the phantom of the green dragon was faintly visible. When they saw its figure, 11 and the others immediately felt their bodies reverse and the universe reverse. It was as if they were facing the god of creation. They involuntarily lost all control of themselves and were under the pressure of the world. Woo! 11 and the others resisted with serious expressions. In the next moment. Roar! As the green dragon roared, the world shattered. Shiyu and the others returned to the starry sky. The weak Shiyu was first stunned before being overjoyed. Evolution was a huge success. Imagination domain, dream control, for holy clones, Queen Mother's power, had already fused into the creation domain. Skill, creation domain. Level, quasi-god level faith skill. Introduction: the world is set up. The 4 dimensions are connected. Whether it's death or life, everything is done. It contained the laws of creation and could borrow the power of faith to create everything, derived the laws of heaven and earth corresponding to the power of faith. It was a rare top-notch divine skill that could give birth to many laws. Chapter 1232, 1232 Creation Green Dragon God 1. 1232 Creation Green Dragon God 1. In the starry sky, the huge body of the green dragon Buggy occupied the outside of the meteorite group. The green-gold light lit up the dark universe. Be it Shiyu or the pets who were saving Shiyu, they looked at Buggy, who had completed a new round of evolution, in a daze. Creation domain! Shiyu shouted in disbelief. What kind of skill was this? Creation domain? Damn, I made a killing. Shiyu was immediately blinded by joy. It was as excited as 11 when it awakened the yin-yang millstone. He felt that the dragon of imagination wouldn't have such a huge gain. Most likely, it was still the skill fusion and the green dragon domain that underwent a qualitative change. The laws of creation. After all, even if the legendary green dragon was a creation god, his buggy was only at the demigod level at the moment. The creation domain could create the world, for dimensions, life and death, and everything. It could even give birth to many laws in its world. For example, the rain law Xiaoyu and the others had seen previously, the wood life law. Or it could be combined into the law of spring. A skill contained many power of laws. Just now, Buggy even felt that it could evolve plants into transcendent life forms in the creation domain with a thought. It completely had the bearing of a creation god. But soon, Xiaoyu realized that although the current Buggy's strength had exploded, it was still too early to be called a creation god. The legendary green dragon was first created and then believed in. It didn't rely on the power of faith at all. It had the ability to create the world in the first place, and it didn't even care about the power of faith. As for the current Buggy, it could only mobilize the laws of creation with the power of faith. The causal order was reversed. Although it was still powerful, it could still be seen that there was still a difference between it and the real green dragon. Evolution was still not complete. But even so, Xiaoyu was quite satisfied. Moreover, this skill could not only be used by mobilizing the power of faith. Borrowing the power of faith could only make it stronger, but even without the power of faith, Buggy could control everything in the creation domain like a master of creation. It perfectly included the nature of skills such as the imagination domain, dream control, and the power of the Queen Mother. However, it couldn't use the creation law. The law of creation was undoubtedly a top-notch law. Moreover, it was even more perfect and functional than 11's yin-yang millstone. These two guys were simply a god of creation and a god of destruction now. Although this creation domain consumed a lot of faith power, once it was activated, Buggy was invincible. As long as it consumed enough power of faith, it wasn't impossible to instantly suppress and insta-kill demigods. In the creation domain, as the creation god, Buggy was like a divine level when facing demigods. Without a doubt, it was another forbidden move in the team competition. Roar! At this moment, Buggy could be said to be overjoyed. Quasi-divine level faith skill. Faith skills could also be cultivated into quasi-divine skills. For example, the Blue Sea contract of the Peak Blue Sea Sprite was both a faith skill and a quasi-divine skill. Now, Buggy finally got its wish and became a mythical race. Name, Buggy. Race, green silkworm cocoon butterfly of imagination green dragon, second stage, in evolution. Race level, low-level mythical, starry sky faith god. Level of growth, totem level. Race skill. Super, dragon of imagination, transcendent, faith skill, dragon star group, transcendent, space control, transcendent, faith skill, green dragon indestructible body, transcendent. Quasi-god level, faith skill, creation domain, proficient. Energy points, 4,120 million. Because it was the fusion of for transcendent super skills, Buggy had inherited a lot of EXP, so Buggy felt that it wasn't unfamiliar with using this new skill. It looked at Xiaoyu, who had been healing for a long time and didn't heal much. It roared and activated the small range creation domain, pulling Xiaoyu and the others into a new world. It stretched out its claws and aimed at Xiaoyu. The spring law was activated, and they strengthened and nourished baby Ginseng and Xiaoyu together. Baby Ginseng let out a comfortable cry and trembled. Stop, stop, stop. Xiaoyu hurriedly shouted for them to stop. He sensed that he was quickly recovering his restoration state and panicked. There's not much power of faith left, not much, don't waste it. Roar. I'll definitely do it next time. Buggy looked at Xiaoyu's enfeebled appearance. So be it. His health was more important. Am I? Kai Tong pulled Susu and looked. Why did it feel that Buggy's faith skill was much cooler than its? Nink, Susu cried. Stop talking. It was the only one in the first team who wasn't a mythical race. Fortunately, it was also fast. It could immediately rely on itself to cultivate the Blue Sea contract and the Sea Cleansing Spirit into quasi-divine skills through the power of inheritance. Woo! 11 rubbed its fists. Not bad, not bad. The law of creation. It didn't know if its yin-yang millstone could smash the world created by Buggy. But soon, it was pestered by Little Purple, indicating that it wanted to treasure and love the world. Little Z pulled the excited 11 and looked at Buggy in admiration. So powerful. Although it could also do similar things, it couldn't do something like Buggy, which derived the sound of laws. 11 pulled Little Purple away and stared at it. So which one of them was the creator of the universe? After an unknown period of time, Shiyu and the others rode the shrunken green dragon back to Blue Planet. On the green dragon's body, the pets were very excited. Chapter 1233 Creation Green Dragon God 2 1233 Creation Green Dragon God 2 Too strong. The skill fused by the 4 top-notch super skills was too strong. Not only was it a quasi-divine skill, but it was also a quasi-divine skill that contained top-notch laws. Even 11, who was holding the yin-yang millstone, couldn't help but feel tempted. It wanted to fuse its other super top-notch skills again. Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, and the others, who were holding a pile of super top-notch skills, had the same thought. At that time, if he could have 3 to 4 quasi-divine skills, he would definitely be invincible. However, in fact, only Shiyu realized that the food crisis in the team might be even more serious next. As Buggy broke through to the totem level and had demigod battle power, the pressure came to Baby Ginseng again. Gulp. Yi, listening to Buggy's stomach rumble, Baby Ginseng pouted. Buggy could already create the law of spring. Creating a fruit or something was much better than it. It was recommended to be self-sufficient. Roar. Buggy expressed that it wasn't impossible, but it was a little wasteful of the power of faith. Forget it. At most, it could run to the starry sky to eat small stars in the future and more or less relieve its hunger. Yi! Baby Ginseng stood on the green dragon Buggy with its hands on its hips, indicating that it was teasing it. It wasn't a big problem. The next was for Baby Ginseng to break through. It didn't believe that a demigod-level world ginseng like it couldn't afford to raise the entire team of demigods. It had the world gray skill and could mobilize the power of the world on Blue Planet. It could choose not to believe it, but it had to believe that Blue Planet could afford to raise a few demigods. At that time, the consumption of it using the world should be much smaller, unlike when it was at the Overlord level. In short, at that time, there would be no pressure to freeload on Blue Planet's nutrition. Nink, Nink. Susu expressed its support at the side. It was grateful for the gift of nature. It, who could connect to the sea, had never been hungry. As the strongest ocean demigod, it made sense for Susu. Other demigods were still worried about food, but its food was inexhaustible. How could it not be strong? However, Susu was still worried that it wouldn't be able to connect to the sea on Blue Planet when it explored the starry sky in the future. It looked at Shiyu eagerly, so when would it evolve into a Star Sea sprite? It wanted to sign a contract with the Star Sea. Don't worry, don't worry. It's your turn next. Shiyu smiled bitterly and said, when the time comes, I'll also use the skill fusion to assist in breakthrough evolution. Let's see if we can fuse your Star Sea body with the Blue Sea contract. Nink. Master, Master. As Shiyu and the others were chatting, Ling suddenly said, not good. It looked panicked. President Lin sent a message saying that in the Dragon Palace city's coup, 3 divine dragons from the mythical era revived in the Dragon God ruins. Because they wanted to destroy the faith of the Green Dragon in Dragon Palace City, the Dragon God fought with them. Now, not only do they want to let the Dragon God abdicate, but they also want to force a marriage. Roar! As soon as Ling finished speaking, the entire team was stunned. Among them, Buggy even roared. Destroying the faith of the Green Dragon and forcing the Dragon God to marry? Shiyu immediately frowned. Are you sure? Everyone knew that the Dragon God had protected Dong Huang for more than 1,000 years because of her deep relationship with the Dragon Emperor. Now that the Dragon Emperor of Dong Huang had died, the revived god of Dragon Palace City actually targeted the Dragon God. When Shiyu heard that, he was immediately angry. Revival of a god? Was he tired of living? Buggy had just evolved and was worried that there was no place to test the power of the creation domain. Ling, lock onto the location. Buggy, accelerate. On the East Sea. At this moment, everyone was paying attention. 3 gods had revived in Dragon Palace City. If they wanted to take back the power of Dragon Palace City and have a conflict with the current dragon god, it couldn't be hidden from the entire world. The impact of demigod-level battle fluctuations on this incomplete planet was too great. Perhaps only after the rules of Blue Planet were completely perfected could a demigod-level battle become a small battle. Because both parties were worried about destroying Dragon Palace City, after a high-intensity confrontation, the battlefield gradually shifted to the East Sea. At that moment, there were 3 divine dragons hundreds of meters long. Each of them had an energy aura as vast as a star, and the power of a demigod was undoubtedly displayed. The leading one was covered in black and golden scales and emitted a very terrifying aura. Its huge dragon eyes actually narrowed slightly. Opposite them was the already rather miserable dragon god covered in injuries, as well as the gem cat girl with a serious expression, and President Lin. Apart from that, demigods from all over the world who had rushed over to watch the show because of the battle fluctuations were also hidden in all directions, including awakening gods. For example, the Black Dragon Lord of the Western Dragon Empire had finally broken through to the demigod level, the Tyrant Dragon King of the Dragonman Empire. These dragons were very concerned about the conflict in Dragon Palace City. These 3 revival divine dragons probably had the intention to lead all the dragons. They guessed. You're not bad. As a future god, you can fight me to this extent. Seeing that your cultivation is not easy, as long as you agree to become our partner, you can still be the dragon god of Dragon Palace City. We won't interfere too much in the matters of Dragon Palace City, but we still have to eliminate all the messy green dragon faith. Dragons were perverted by nature. After sleeping for so long, they suddenly encountered a female with outstanding strength like the dragon god. Although they went against each other at the start, soon, the black gold divine dragon and the others were gradually attracted by the dragon god's strength and special looks. Chapter 1234, 1234 Creation Green Dragon God, 3. 1234 Creation Green Dragon God, 3. The dragon god panted deeply. It was naturally impossible for her to agree to the other party. However, every one of these 3 gods was very strong. It was probably not that easy to deal with. What if she doesn't agree? The dragon god couldn't be bothered with the other party, but the violent gem cat girl cursed. Don't agree? Then I'll let you forcefully agree. Treat it as atonement for betraying the faith of the ancestral dragon, the black gold divine dragon said. Sir, do you really want to be enemies with our Dong Huang? President Lin's expression was dark. Previously, he had even taken out the world tree, but these revived divine dragons were still unmoved, saying that this was an internal matter of the dragon race. This made President Lin understand that they were not easy to deal with. These guys were completely different from those individual gods. The dragon race, the head of the 5 god races in the mythical era, actually ignored the world tree. However, President Lin also knew that he was indeed suspected of being ridiculous. The relationship between the World Tree and Dong Huang was far from that deep. Instead, the dragon race was a mythical race that had contributed to protecting the world. Even the World Tree was considered a junior in front of it. Unless the true body of the Blue Planets will woke up, only then could they respect it. You guys? The black gold divine dragon couldn't help but become more and more annoyed when it saw a little cat and human who had appeared out of nowhere and wanted to interfere in the internal affairs of the dragon race. When Shiyu comes, you're all finished, the gem cat girl muttered. It knew that this group of people had destroyed a pile of green dragon statues in Dragon Palace City and killed many green dragon believers. The ice dragon that came out to stop them was also heavily injured and on the verge of death. With Shiyu's temper, he would definitely make this group of dragons pay the price. Roar! With a disagreement, the 2 parties started fighting again. The black gold divine dragon's dragon claw gently pointed at the dragon god. Boom! The black light ball turned into a dark tide and devoured in the direction of the dragon god. "They're going to fight." Around them, many demigods were watching the commotion. However, these people had no intention of interfering. After all, the revived mythical dragon race might be the most difficult existence among the revived gods. Yinon and the abyss demon frog weren't even qualified to carry their shoes. Even if the three gods only had demigod battle power now, they definitely suppressed the world. No one expected that not long after, Dong Huang would be in big trouble again. The dragon god's expression turned cold. The gem cat girl revealed a bitter expression. They were going to fight again. But then, the gem cat girl was delighted and looked at the sky. At this moment, many demigods sensed a terrifying aura descending from the sky. Moreover, it was accompanied by a voice that resounded through the hearts of all living beings. "Damn, which idiot came to provoke me again? Can the green dragon faith be smashed just like that?" She used telepathy resounded through the world, stunning everyone. "Don't you know that the green dragon is a pet cultivated by your father, me?" As the voice spread, the three Dragon Palace city gods were stunned. The Western Black Dragon Lord was stunned, and the Tyrant Dragon King of the Dragonman Empire was stunned. "Wow!" the Gem Cat exclaimed. With a boom, the sound of laws that sounded like the creation of the world sounded. A small crack appeared in the attack trajectory of the Black Gold Divine Dragon and enlarged with a bang, opening the world. A new world formed. Be it the two parties facing each other or all the demigods watching, they were shocked to discover that they were pulled into an unfamiliar place without being able to resist at all. Buzz? In an instant, the black dark tide was obliterated and dispersed. Moreover, in the clouds in the sky, an indescribably majestic divine might enveloped down. In an instant, the demigods looked at the sky in shock and saw three divine lightning descend from the sky. A divine lightning was like a world falling. Its aura was terrifying, as if it could destroy the world. Boom! Facing the creation god lightning, one of the killer moves derived from the creation domain, the pupils of the three divine dragons suddenly constricted. They felt a huge threat, and their hearts beat crazily. They felt that they had heard the laws of lightning, heard the laws of heaven and earth, and seen the laws of life. It was simply unbelievable. Although every sound of laws was very weak, they actually combined to form a terrifying killer move. Who is it? The three divine dragons, a black gold divine dragon, a blue divine dragon, and a green-purple divine dragon wanted to resist in unison, but in the creation domain, they were like lambs waiting to be killed. They instantly widened their dragon eyes and endured the unbearable pressure. Their faces were pale as they felt a vast world pressure. Divine level! They shouted in disbelief. Impossible! It's impossible for there to be a divine-level existence on Blue Planet at the moment. Boom! The divine lightning descended. With a crack, their bodies were wrapped in lightning, and their dragon scales instantly exploded. The violent lightning penetrated their life source. In just an instant, the skin and flesh of their bodies exploded from the lightning, and dragon blood splattered. Roar! The miserable cries of the three divine dragons shook the sky and earth. Under the suppression of the lightning, they were instantly penetrated into the ground and smashed to the ground. Their huge dragon eyes bled and were filled with disbelief. Around them, President Lin, the Gem Cat, and the spectating demigods also looked at the three Dragon Palace city gods in extreme disbelief. The dragon god also looked in the sky in extreme disbelief. Who is it? The beast tamer of the green dragon. The faith statues you destroyed is all mine. The phantom of the green dragon, which was tens of thousands of meters long, circled under the starry sky. The figures of Shiyu and his pet slowly descended into the lower realm. Seeing that it was indeed Shiyu, the surrounding demigods revealed shocked expressions, not understanding what had happened. They didn't understand why the skin and flesh of the three demigod-level enfeebled gods exploded in an instant. That was a divine-level dragon body. Blasphemer! You're disrespecting the ancestral dragon. At this moment, the three revival divine dragons tried their best to break free from the creation god lightning. They looked at the phantom of the creation green dragon god in the sky in anger, and at Xiaoyu, who had descended. At the same time, they felt that it was unbelievable. However, Xiaoyu's next words made their brains rumble and they were even angrier. Then let the ancestral dragon say it himself. The three low-level gods have a death wish. Buggy, crush them. Xiaoyu's heart ached at this moment. After all, this time, the power of faith of the green dragon would probably be exhausted. Therefore, he had to find resources from these three divine dragons. With a boom, the huge green dragon claw crossed the void and pinched the three divine dragons. They widened their eyes and tried their best to activate quasi-divine skills to hit the green dragon claw. Boom, boom, and vibration. The green dragon claw was instantly broken but instantly repaired. As long as there was enough power of faith for the transcendent green dragon indestructible body, even if Buggy died, it could instantly revive like baby ginseng. With a puff, the green dragon claw resisted the three quasi-divine skills but didn't break. It pinched the three divine dragons in its hand and squeezed hard. The powerful dragon body of the divine-level dragon instantly exploded like a piece of paper, badly mangled. Only its last breath was left, waiting to be dealt with. In an instant, everyone fell silent. Xiaoyu looked at the dragon god and said, "Sorry, senior dragon god. Buggy and I are training in the starry sky and are late." The dragon god was silent. A moment later, she looked at the green dragon phantom in the sky and said, "What's going on?" The black dragon lord, the tyrant dragon king, and the other demigods who were still trapped in the creation domain also peed their pants in fright. They wanted to leave, but they didn't know how to leave this damn place. They looked like they had seen a ghost. What the F***ck was going on? Chapter 1235 Invincible 1 1235 Invincible 1 The current situation was extremely strange for President Lin and the others. After all, previously, Xiaoyu still needed two demigods to resist Yunnan and the Abyss Demon Frog for a period of time. But which of the three gods in front of him wasn't a stronger existence? However, they felt that Xiaoyu's Buggy crushed them almost effortlessly. Buggy broke through to the totem level and took another step forward to the green dragon. Now, it can fight with the power of faith. It can fight a true god above its level as a demigod. It's naturally not a problem to deal with three low-level gods whose levels have been suppressed, Xiaoyu said. He explained to President Lin and the others why Buggy was so fierce. Damn, he had almost spent all the power of faith. How could he not be fierce? The key was that it couldn't easily solve the current situation without paying. Meow. The gem cat was stunned. What a joke! Why were your pets getting more and more ridiculous after evolution? Why did Xiaoyu want to kill a true god above its level just as it reached the demigod level? Senior Dragon God, don't worry. From today onwards, Buggy and I will protect you, Xiaoyu said to the Dragon God. Sigh, femme fatale. The Dragon God was speechless. This dispute seems to have attracted many guys to watch the battle. Xiaoyu looked around again. 1, 2 clueless, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are actually 7 demigods. There seems to be a familiar face. President Lin, have the Tyrant Dragon King and the Black Dragon Lord joined the Blue Planet Alliance? No. The surrounding demigods didn't join the Blue Planet Alliance. As President Lin finished speaking, Xiaoyu grinned and looked around with ill intentions. The Tyrant Dragon King was also a demigod. He had killed its son in the World Tournament, so it must have been hating him. The Black Dragon Lord had also killed a general of their Dragon Empire. This had definitely been holding a grudge. They were all potential enemies. Among them, the Dragonman Empire and the Dragon Empire were also great enemies of Dong Huang in the previous totem battles. Xiaoyu felt that since the creation domain had already been opened, it was better to deal with more enemies along the way. This way, the cost-effective ratio could be maximized. Then, Xiaoyu's eyes turned golden. The green dragon domain spread out and fused with the creation domain. Under the starry sky, the divine aura of the green dragon was even more terrifying. The 7 surrounding demigods were basically here to watch the commotion. Among them, there were 3 demigods from the post-Blue Planet era, and 4 were demigod-level reincarnation gods. Boom! At this moment, the green dragon's killing intent lingered again. The miserable state of the 3 revived divine dragons just now had already scared the 7 surrounding demigods into peeing. Even if 4 of them were reincarnation gods, they were extremely afraid of Shiyu's power. He felt that Shiyu was even more terrifying than the last time he resisted the Abyss race. Moreover, this guy was simply crazy. Not only was he ruthless in killing invading races, but he was also ruthless to the dragons who had contributed in the war of the mythical era. In an instant, the 3 dragon generals were crushed. Was he really not afraid of anything? Berserk Dragon King. Black Dragon Lord Juggernaut. Buggy, crush them too. At this moment, as Shiyu spoke, the divine might of the green dragon Buggy suppressed the surroundings. In the entire creation domain, deterrence shook the sky and earth. The pupils of the 7 demigods, especially the Tyrant Dragon King and the Juggernaut Black Dragon Lord, constricted. Damn! This kid really wanted to continue attacking. It still wanted to kill them. At this moment, the 2 demigods were furious. But in the next moment, it was very cowardly. Because the miserable state of Dragon Palace City's revived gods was still vivid in his mind. They believed that their strength couldn't exceed the 3 gods. Roar! Under the reeking of divine might, the demigods in all directions of the creation domain instantly let out furious roars, feeling that Shiyu wanted to kill them all. Shiyu, do you want to start a war? The Tyrant Dragon King was furious, but in the next moment, the creation god might that had condensed, compressed, and tempered to the extreme gathered on its huge humanoid body. The sound of spirit laws shook in all directions. President Lin was stunned. He didn't expect Shiyu to attack other demigods. Was it really all right? With a crack, in the creation domain, the Tyrant Dragon King, who had just advanced to a demigod, had yet to resist when its body transformed under the substantialized divine-level dragon might. The hard dragon bone in its body instantly shattered. His brain rumbled, and dragon blood flowed out of his eyes. He spat out blood crazily, and his eyes gradually turned white. With a boom, it was suppressed to the ground and thrown to the ground like a meteor. The surrounding demigods were extremely shocked. Suppressing a demigod with deterrence? What exactly was going on with this strange domain and strange world? The laws of heaven and earth are all controlled by it, like the world it created. A reincarnation god was extremely shocked as he looked at the miserable state of the Tyrant Dragon King. This is the law of creation. Impossible, no creature can master such power. At this moment, the Tyrant Dragon King was extremely afraid, but it couldn't say the word to submit. Its body directly exploded from the pressure of deterrence and turned into a blood mist. Just like the divine dragons, it only had 1 breath left and waited to be dealt with. Shiyu, that black dragon wants to run. Hurry up and hit it. The gem cat was extremely surprised. He didn't expect Shiyu to become so fierce again after a few days. It had long wanted to beat up this black dragon. They actually didn't give their gem financial group face. This was an opportunity. Roar! The Black Dragon Lord retreated in shock and retreated crazily. A quasi-divine skill condensed. It spat out a world destruction dragon breath and aimed at Shiyu, but it was only for show. It was instantly taken head-on by a dragon claw that swung over. The sweeping dragon claw slapped towards the Juggernaut's Black Dragon Lord. Chapter 1236, 1236 Invincible, 2. 1236 Invincible, 2. Just like the Divine Claw, this was the true power that could sweep through the world and destroy everything. In the creation domain, Buggy was both a creation god and a world destruction god. Shiyu, you lunatic! The dark figure approached, and the Black Dragon Lord was taken by surprise as Shiyu seemed determined to completely annihilate them, disregarding any consequences. Our Dragon Empire also has gods. Senior, save me. Black Dragon Lord looked at one of the reincarnation gods, but the other party was indifferent. It was filled with fear toward the green dragon. The pupils of the Black Dragon Lord constricted. With a boom, it was pinched by a huge claw. Its body shattered, and a blood mist exploded. From beginning to end, the colossal main body of Buggy merely hovered in the sky, casually moving its small claws throughout the entire process. Roar! After destroying 5 demigods in a row, Buggy's battle intent rose to the extreme as it locked onto the next target. Wait, I have no grudge with Dong Huang. The remaining demigod of the later era of Blue Planet roared. This was an icy snow dragon from the snowfield, an elemental life form. It wasn't a dragon, but it was in dragon form. In the creation domain, Buggy was a god of death. Ordinary demigods couldn't withstand a single move from it, but that was normal. After all, this was a top-notch lore enhanced by all the power of faith of the Green Dragon on Shiyu and the others. Apart from that, Shiyu's Green Dragon domain also strengthened Buggy's faith skill. It gave Buggy true divine power. Roar, roar, roar. 11 and the others cheered. Buggy, kill, kill, kill. If Buggy used up all the power of faith here, it wouldn't be able to participate in the team internal competition. Buggy was indeed fierce, shocking 11 and the others. They hurriedly prayed that Buggy would use up its terrifying power. They have gone mad with killing. Now, the other reincarnated gods dared not make any rash moves, as they had no grievances or enmity with Shiyu. They didn't believe that Shiyu would massacre them all, but deep down, they couldn't deny that they were worried and afraid. They couldn't imagine how Shiyu and the others had erupted with divine-level power in the cultivationless age. This was the Green Dragon? It felt like the ancestral dragon was suppressed in the demigod realm, and that was his limit of power. The humans' hearts were in panic. Previously, they didn't feel much, but at this moment, they sensed the terrifying power of the Seed of Hope brought by Goddess Wa. Even if the ones they left on Blue Planet were only low-level gods, it was really unimaginable for them to be killed indiscriminately by demigods of the later era. Don't worry. After heavily injuring the Tyrant Dragon King and the Black Dragon Lord in one go, Shiyu smiled gently and said, Dong Huang loves peace and will never initiate aggression. It's purely because the factions of those 2 guys once invaded Dong Huang, so I taught them a lesson. Moreover, they didn't join the Blue Planet Alliance. It's obvious that they aren't guys who yearn for peace. Eliminating them is also eliminating harm for Blue Planet, in case they become traitors and rely on extraterrestrial factions. As Shiyu finished speaking, the other 5 demigods felt their teeth hurt. They had yet to betray anyone, but he had already drawn conclusions. Who could argue with him? I'm willing to join the Blue Planet Alliance. Icy Snow Dragon was the first to shout, afraid that Shiyu would attack. President Lin's vision darkened. He didn't expect that the demigods from those difficult-to-communicate factions would be willing to join the Blue Planet Alliance in this manner. Welcome. Shiyu smiled. All right, next, I want to think about how to deal with these 3 guys. Shiyu looked towards the 3 mythical dragon race members who were heavily injured and unconscious. He turned to the Dragon God and asked, Senior Dragon God, with me here, you can rest assured that no one can snatch your position as the Dragon God. Even if Ancestral Dragon returns, he won't succeed. How should we deal with these 3 detestable guys? Why don't we roast them and eat them? We'll split them with everyone in Dragon Palace City. It was Shiyu's idea to expand the faith of the Green Dragon in Dragon Palace City. Now that Dragon Palace City had been left in ruins by these 3 guys and many Green Dragon believers had died, Shiyu really felt bad. Only by dismembering these 3 guys and giving their dragon blood, meat, tendons, and ball to everyone in Dragon Palace City as resources could Shiyu feel more comfortable. You'll get into big trouble like this. At this moment, the Dragon God's mind was also greatly shaken. She found Shiyu and Buggy's godlike battle power unbelievable. However, after killing 3 divine dragons of the mythical era like this, she felt she would be in big trouble next. They might not be the only gods of the Dragon Palace. Perhaps other divine dragons will revive one after another. Shiyu smiled and said, It's not a big problem. I just want to kill all the enemies. If they're friends, I'll welcome them. Shi Yu's words made the corners of the mouths of President Lin, the Gem Cat, and the others twitch. Shi Yu was definitely arrogant, but this exaggerated battle power was simply even more terrifying than the previous strongest legendary title. He could completely be said to be invincible. He even casually killed awakened gods. Roar! At this moment, the 3 divine dragons that had been crushed by Buggy slowly recovered some strength under their self-healing. Seeing this, Shi Yu immediately commanded Kai Tong. Just kill them. Mi. Kai Tong, who was flying around in the sky in the form of a sword, had long been waiting for Shi Yu's words. Its aura rose steadily, and its energy erupted, revealing the power of a demigod and shocking the people beside it. It was unexpected that Shi Yu's sword spirit had also reached the demigod level. Boom! In the next second, Kai Tong turned into a sword light and slashed at the 3 divine dragons, planning to harvest their souls first. Don't kill them. At this moment, just as Kai Tong attacked, a voice suddenly sounded. Chapter 1237, 1237 Invincible, 3. 1237 Invincible, 3. Shi Yu originally thought that it was one of the surrounding reincarnation gods. However, upon closer listening, he felt something was amiss, as the voice sounded somewhat familiar. Crack! In an instant. In this cultivationless age, the creation domain that was comparable to a true divine skill was instantly torn apart. An invisible power of the world turned into a huge hand that instantly blocked Kai Tong and gently bounced it away. Shi Yu, stop! After the green worm the size of an arm tore open the creation domain and blocked Kai Tong, it shouted nervously, afraid that Shi Yu would be fast enough to kill the 3 divine dragons. World Tree! At this moment, when they saw this little green vortex worm, the cat, the dragon god, President Lin, and the surrounding demigods were shocked. They didn't expect the World Tree, or rather, the World Tree clone, to suddenly appear here. Mi. At this moment, Kai Tong and Buggy were rather shocked. They felt that their strength was easily resolved by the World Tree clone, the little green vortex worm. Shi Yu was also extremely silent. As he looked at the incoming World Tree clone, he kept feeling that there was big trouble. It wouldn't be so easy to use the 3 divine dragons as resources. Senior World Tree. Boom! The creation domain shattered, and the environment returned to its original state. The 3 divine dragons fell into the sea. The Tyrant Dragon King and the Black Dragon Lord also fell into a near-death state. The other demigods had lingering fears. Since the World Tree was here, Shi Yu couldn't go crazy anymore, right? Lord World Tree, the 3 of them attacked first. I was defending myself. At this moment, Shi Yu complained. He didn't expect the World Tree to wake up at this moment. I know. I've already understood the cause and effect. However, they have contributed to the mythical war after all. Shi Yu, spare their lives. I promise you that they won't interfere in the Dragon Palace anymore. The World Tree had an extremely bad headache. It didn't expect such a big thing to happen when it woke up. Naturally, it couldn't let Shi Yu kill these 3 revival gods. If it did, what would the other gods who had contributed to Blue Planet think? However, the World Tree had special feelings for Shi Yu. When it woke up, it realized that not only had Shi Yu killed Yunnan and the Abyss Demon Frog and become the strongest human, but he could also easily kill 5 demigods. The World Tree was shocked and delighted. It was also very concerned about a genius like Shi Yu. Moreover, this time, these 3 gods were indeed too violent, so the World Tree could only be a peacemaker. I'll use the power of the world to recover the casualties of Dragon Palace City, the World Tree clone said. The Dragon God said, thank you, Lord World Tree. Shi Yu, let's forget it. At this moment, since the World Tree had already said this, the Dragon God didn't want Shi Yu to offend the gods too much either. Shi Yu frowned and said, all right, since Mother said so. But the Tyrant Dragon King and the Black Dragon Lord. The World Tree clone said, I'm not your mother. You can do whatever you want with those 2 guys. I don't care anymore. The World Tree clone felt a headache. Below, the three revival gods were directly put into an alternate space by it. At the same time, the green vortex worm glanced at Xiyu and the others and said, "Xiyu, let this matter come to an end. You, follow me to Inatella. I have something important to tell you." "All right." Xiyu nodded and said, "Has the ancient god Golden Bull woken up? It still owes me a divine-level resource." The World Tree clone shook its head. "No." This time, the World Tree suddenly woke up and even said that something big had happened. Xiyu decisively followed the World Tree. In almost the blink of an eye, they were brought to Inatella by the World Tree. After arriving, the World Tree clone looked at Xiyu with a rather complicated expression. It didn't expect Shiyu's improvement speed to be so fast. He had reached the invincible level so quickly. "Little brat, your strength has improved very quickly. On Blue Planet, you can be said to be invincible even when facing these gods who have awakened from their sleep." Xiyu said in embarrassment, "I'm still not your match." "World Tree clone? You still want to be my match?" The World Tree clone said, "You're indeed invincible, but the problem now is that the reason why I woke up is because I sensed a batch of powerful extraterrestrials approaching the galaxy where Blue Planet is. The opponent is incredibly powerful. Although not at the divine level, they have reached the pinnacle of the demigod realm. They might possess 3, 4, 5, or even 6 or 7 quasi-divine skills. I'm not sure if they're friends or foes. It's as if they come from a world with more perfected rules, or perhaps a life form born from a planet even mightier than Blue Planet. If they're enemies, Blue Planet will be in danger." Xiyu was stunned, and his expression changed. "Holy shit, you just said that I'm invincible, but an enemy is coming from the sky?" Chapter 1238, 1238 Alien Beast Tamer descends to Blue Planet, 1. 1238 Alien Beast Tamer descends to Blue Planet, 1. At this moment, Xiyu had mixed feelings. They might have 3, 4, 5, or even more quasi-divine skills. They were indeed very terrifying guests from outer space. In the cultivationless age of Blue Planet, apart from the Blue Planet lineage, there were at most 2 records of quasi-divine skills. For example, the Blue Sea Sprite. It was called the strongest demigod because it had 2 quasi-divine skills that could be used together, and one of them was a quasi-divine level faith skill. On the Blue Planet in the cultivationless age, cultivating 2 quasi-divine skills was already a heavenly talent. Whoever cultivated 3 would definitely be invincible in the world. But the alien guest mentioned by the World Tree this time didn't seem to be reasonable at all. 4 to 5 quasi-divine skills? He felt that even if 11 and the others had quasi-divine skills that contained top-notch laws, they wouldn't be able to fight easily. After all, having multiple pets with quasi-divine skills wasn't the same concept as having multiple quasi-divine skills with one pet. The latter's strength was a qualitative leap. Perhaps it could even use a combination divine skill. However, Xiyu wasn't afraid of them if they really fought head-on. It wasn't difficult for him to let 11 and the others each have multiple quasi-divine skills. "In the same realm, I'm invincible, even if it's a cosmic demigod," Xiyu said. "As long as Lord World Tree provides enough resources to make me stronger, I'll kill whoever comes. When the resources are in place, even God Realm experts will be useless. You have no idea, I now have 4 totem contracts that surpass my level, and our team is almost overflowing. We can barely manage to keep everyone fed," said Xiyu with a grin. As long as the World Tree gave him resources, he would win this battle. He would guard the Blue Planet. "So you know that you haven't even reached the legendary level." The corners of the World Tree clone's mouth twitched. "I brought you to Inatella because I want you to stay and not get involved in these troublesome matters. If it's an enemy, I'll settle it. You can just cultivate here obediently." "Xiyu?" The World Tree naturally believed what Xiyu said. If the World Tree wasn't wrong, Shiyu's skill that crushed the 5 demigods just now contained the law of creation. It was a quasi-divine level faith skill. If such a skill could be cultivated into a divine skill and had enough power of faith to support it, then Green Dragon. Green Dragon would absolutely not be inferior to top-notch gods like Ancestral Dragon and Original Phoenix. Green Dragon would be a future entity with the potential to become a top-notch god, unparalleled among peers, and no one at the same level could be its match. In addition to that panda who had mastered the destructive law, when Shiyu grew up, he was definitely a good seedling that far exceeded any top-notch god back then. Perhaps there was the hope of resisting super-divine life forms like the Abyss Evil God, the Space Behemoth, and the Worm Empress alone. Regarding such a genius, the World Tree naturally couldn't let Shiyu face a strong enemy too early. If anything happened to Shiyu before he reached the divine level, the World Tree would cry to death. Not only would the World Tree have lost a super genius, but it would also feel that its previous blessings had been thrown away and wasted. Therefore, the World Tree planned to protect Shiyu well in Inatella when external enemies invaded. If they were really powerful enemies, the World Tree would deal with them. Although excessive consumption of the power of the world would delay the recovery of the laws, there was no other way. Who would have thought that someone from the starry sky would come at this time? You want me to cultivate here? Shiyu was stunned. He really didn't expect the World Tree to call him over not to let him, the strongest expert on Blue Planet, fight the external enemies, but to protect him instead. But thinking about it carefully, there was nothing wrong with that. He was still a child who had yet to grow up. That's right. Apart from that, the World Tree was also worried that Shiyu would suddenly kill a few more reincarnation gods outside. Now, Shiyu had the complete aptitude of a super divine. It wasn't something the low-level gods on Blue Planet could compare to at all. Just as Shiyu had said, he was invincible in the same realm. Then, will you provide food? Shiyu suddenly asked. If food and accommodation are provided, and Lord World Tree, if you take good care of Dong Huang, Dragon Palace City, and my friends, then I have no problem. Of course, I don't want something like today to happen again. If it weren't for the fact that Lord World Tree said that you could revive the casualties of Dragon Palace City, I would have killed those 3 gods no matter what to commemorate those believers. Shiyu grinned. The World Tree said, sure, no problem. I'll punish them well. I'll pay extra attention to your country and your friends. With this awakening, I won't sleep any time soon. With me awake, a situation like the one that appeared in Dragon Palace City previously will definitely not happen again. I'll take over the right of Blue Planet's will to temporarily manage Blue Planet. Then thank you, Lord Blue Planet. Shiyu was excited. Awesome. The World Tree provided food and accommodation. Didn't that mean that 11 and the others could train unscrupulously on Inatella's side? In fact, a demigod-level team battle could even be arranged. On the other hand, he worked hard to meditate and strive to break through to level 9 as soon as possible. In that case, Shiyu was willing to suppress his restless heart. It was the same to level up first before going to have fun. By the way, Shiyu suddenly recalled something and said, my friend previously had a premonition. The premonition was that a legendary beast tamer from Dong Huang, who disappeared while exploring the starry sky, and Lin Feng, a beast tamer from Dong Huang, who once received your blessings and also disappeared, are still alive. After they disappeared, they arrived at a certain place in the starry sky and broke through to the divine level. The World Tree was stunned. It looked at Shiyu and said, it's a premonition. There's indeed such a possibility. In the starry sky, no, even on Blue Planet, there are many things that the will of the planet doesn't know, just like how ordinary people can't know every minute phenomenon in their bodies. Chapter 1239, 1239 Alien Beast Tamer descends to Blue Planet, 2. 1239 Alien Beast Tamer descends to Blue Planet, 2. It's not impossible for them to reach deeper into the starry sky due to certain peculiar phenomena. Even in the mythical era, there have been cases of gods disappearing when exploring the starry sky, including the high-level gods who left the Blue Planet after the mythical era ended. The reason why I said that I don't know if the guests from outer space are friends or foes is also because of this. Blue Planet is gradually reviving. Those who return might be enemies, but they might also be old friends. I hope things can develop in a good direction. The World Tree clone looked out of Blue Planet again. Shiyu pursed his lips. World Tree clone, why don't you know anything? Is this why you don't know that I'm a transmigrator? At the same time, as the World Tree pulled Shiyu away, Shiyu took away the Tyrant Dragon King and the Black Dragon Lord. Many demigods immediately dispersed. The non-Dong Huang demigod left dejectedly, while the Dragon God returned to Dragon Palace City to preside over the overall situation. The previous conflict had long thrown the Dragon Palace City into chaos. There was even a batch of surrenderers who had joined the gods. The Dragon God wanted to settle the score. As for President Lin and the Gem Cat, they couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief when they saw that the matter had ended successfully. President Lin said, "Teacher Ying, can I leave the matter of incorporating the Dragonman Empire to you next? The Dragonman Empire is in the west and has the Dragon God presiding over it. It's not easy to deal with, but we can take back the Dragonman Empire's green dragon faith for Shiyu." The Gem Cat girl's eyes lit up. "Leave it to me. This was a good thing for her." The Battle of Dong Huang ended here. However, the end of the battle confused the various realms. The coup of Dragon Palace City and the revival of the 3 divine dragons to seize Dragon Palace City were definitely not known only to a few demigods. In fact, the various factions on Blue Planet, including the 7-Nation Alliance, quickly got wind of the news. However, only demigods dared to watch this kind of thing up close. According to various speculations, this conflict would definitely cause a super earthquake on the Blue Planet. After all, 3 revival gods were involved, and they were powerful dragon gods, as well as the strongest faction in the post-era of Blue Planet, the Dong Huang Alliance. No one believed that they couldn't fight. But in reality, the feeling this battle gave them was really no different from not fighting. The factions that didn't have the guts to come to the scene to watch the battle had no idea why the East Sea was suddenly silent. The creation domain was too terrifying, directly isolating the new world at that time from the Blue Planet system. Everything that happened took place in another newly created world, beyond the perception of the outside world, which was entirely normal. At the moment, on Blue Planet, probably only the Blue Planets could sense the creation domain and interfere. What exactly happened in the East Sea? Why isn't there any movement? All around the world, there was considerable confusion and puzzlement over the sudden cessation of the Great War. However, the most terrifying thing was that after the demigods who were watching the battle up close left the East Sea, they also kept silent about this battle, afraid that they would get into trouble. The internal waters of the ancient god of the dragon race and the blesser of the world tree were too deep, and they were unwilling to interfere. Could it be that Dong Huang and the dragon god have agreed to some conditions? Before everyone could figure out the truth of this matter, another big event happened. All legendary and demigod levels could sense very powerful auras approaching the Blue Planet from the starry sky. They were rather shocked and didn't understand what had happened in the starry sky. The extraterrestrial visitors this time made no effort to conceal their power, displaying it freely, fearing that the inhabitants of the Blue Planet might not notice them. Their aura was incomparably terrifying. Even if they were outside the planet, they still shocked the legendary demigods on the Blue Planet. Alien invaders? Inatella. Boom. Space trembled. The gods sleeping here were also shocked by this powerful wave. The ancient god Golden Bull and the other gods woke up and looked at the starry sky in confusion. What's going on? Are the invaders here again? Moo! The ancient god Golden Bull roared, his voice resounding through Inatella. Lord Lai Shan, the holy divine deer, the demon king dragon, and the other gods stared at the starry sky with serious expressions. They felt that the enemy was getting closer and closer. Ancient god Golden Bull. At this moment, when he heard these sounds, the one who was most surprised was none other than Shiyu. Damn, this guy has finally woken up. Shiyu immediately shouted at the ancient god Golden Bull, who had awakened from the mythical ruins. At the same time, the ancient god Golden Bull was also stunned as he looked in Shiyu's direction. He saw the World Tree clone with a similarly serious expression and Shiyu, who was waving at him. Bull God, it's me. Shiyu summoned 11, wanting to remind the ancient god Golden Bull of him. Woo woo woo. 11 also waved at the ancient god Golden Bull. Resources. Resources. Resources had yet to be given. When the ancient god Golden Bull saw Xiyu, his expression darkened. Damn, why is this guy still here after I wake up? It's you. The ancient god Golden Bull frowned and said, what is it? What else could it be? You haven't given us the resources we earned from passing the test in the world tournament. Give us a metal element resource. Xiyu's requirements weren't high. He just wanted a mythical metal element resource that could fill Eleven's stomach. Woo woo woo. Eleven nodded, suddenly feeling that the ancient god Golden Bull had become much stronger after a few days. Even so, he still had to give them resources. Since the ancient god Golden Bull dared to agree to the World Tree being an examiner, he shouldn't be as poor as the golden-winged rock to rely on shedding his own body to produce resources, right? Chapter 1240 Alien Beast Tamer descends to Blue Planet, 3. 1240 Alien Beast Tamer descends to Blue Planet, 3. Although the steak was pretty delicious, Xiyu didn't want to eat familiar faces. He treated Inatella's friendly gods as good friends. Yuan at %, the ancient god Golden Bull cursed in his heart and said, I know, I won't shortchange you. You little kid. No, you actually mastered a skill of that level. Not bad, you're really not bad. Kid, you can have resources, but when you're free, fight with me again. The ancient god Golden Bull said indignantly. The ancient god Golden Bull's power, after the revival of the rules and a period of slumber, had also been restored to the totem level. It was no longer the original Overlord level. In other words, it also had demigod battle power now, and as an awakened god, it was definitely stronger than demigods in the later era of the Blue Planet. Sensing that the level of his quasi-divine skill had increased as the laws revived, the ancient god Golden Bull gritted his teeth, wanting to spar with Xiyu and the others again. The last time, because of the suppression of laws, the ancient god Golden Bull never collided with Xiyu and the others. But this time, the ancient god Golden Bull believed that it was definitely not a problem. The higher-level usage of its Golden Mountain divine body had already been unlocked with the revival of his power. The ancient god Golden Bull could rely on overload to obtain physical strength that exceeded that of demigods. He wasn't afraid of even the prototype of a top-notch divine skill. No problem, Xiyu agreed readily. In any case, with the World Tree providing food and accommodation, the losses from the battle shouldn't be a big problem, right? Seeing the cow's temper, he felt that the ancient god Golden Bull could agree to another resource. You guys, at this moment, the World Tree clone was rather speechless. Is this the time to talk about this? My other clone has already gone to the starry sky to intercept the invaders. A huge battle might break out at any moment. You woke up at the right time. If a battle happens, please lend me your vitality. The power of the world that I can mobilize is limited. If the opponent is too strong, I might still need the life of Blue Planet to contribute a portion of my strength. It's indeed an invader. When the World Tree clone said that, the awakened gods became serious. Xiyu also looked at the starry sky, wanting to know what was going on. At the same time, in the incomparably dark starry sky, the huge flash meteors hit the Blue Planet. The 4 meteors weren't big, and each was less than 100 meters in diameter. But with their strength, if they hit the Blue Planet, it would definitely be an unimaginable disaster. This is, at this moment, the Green Dragon, the 50% power clone of the World Tree, was already flying outside the Blue Planet, looking at the 4 meteorites flying over with a burning gaze. It immediately thought of a meteorite life form like Yunnan. However, in fact, these 4 huge meteors were like controllable aircraft. After flying close to the Blue Planet, although they were still filled with huge fluctuations, their speed became slower and slower. Boom! When they were extremely close to the Blue Planet, or rather, the World Tree clone's Green Dragon, the 4 meteorites actually slowly stopped in midair in unison. Then, a door-like arc of light appeared on the 4 meteorites. They slowly opened like the doors of a spaceship. Right on the heels of that, 8 figures appeared together inside. Even the World Tree was rather shocked to see these 8 figures. 4 of them were humans, 2 men, and 2 women. From their appearances, they were all young men in their 20s. The men were handsome, and the women were beautiful. They were wearing clothes that were different from those of any country on Blue Planet. They wrapped their bodies tightly, only revealing the black battle suit on their heads. It was perfectly coordinated with the power of the starry sky, as if it was a super equipment prepared for the starry sky battle. Apart from that, the source of the power sensed by the World Tree clone was also behind them. A blue-purple star dragon whose body seemed to be covered in star spots was only more than 10 meters tall, but its aura far exceeded any demigod on the Blue Planet at the moment. The feeling it gave the World Tree clone was even stronger than that of the peak blue sea sprite. There was also a huge phoenix with a red body and blue wings. Every feather was as deep as a nebula. Just like the previous star dragon, it was a cosmic life form that emitted powerful fluctuations. In addition to that, he was an extraordinary humanoid life form with multiple platinum-colored angelic wings. With a handsome face and golden eyes, he was undoubtedly an angel. The sacred aura emanating from him was already approaching the level of a divine being. The last life form was a female demon with black and red wings that looked like bat wings. She displayed her fiery figure vividly with a smile on her face. She sized up the World Tree clone curiously and licked her lips, looking rather tempting. These four formidable demigod-level beings came out together with the four humans. They appeared to be of equal status, without any distinction of importance. However, there seemed to be a connection between them. The World Tree clone quickly deduced that each pair of these arrivals might have some sort of mutual contract or covenant. Lord Blue Planet, the beast tamer of the Star Dragon, a mature woman with long black hair, walked out of the meteorite in the air and said telepathically, "We've finally arrived. You're the Will clone of this planet, right?" "Who are you?" At this moment, the World Tree clone had already guessed, but it still asked. "My name is Zelan. My teacher is a beast tamer who walked out of this planet. His former title here was the Space Emperor. This time, our group has come from the Cosmic Sea, bringing with us tools that can help the Blue Planet integrate with the universe. At present, the gods who walked out of the Blue Planet in the mythical era have already established several super-divine level factions in the Cosmic Sea and stabilized their foundation. After learning that their mother planet is about to undergo restoration, they plan to welcome their mother planet and help it complete further evolution." At this moment, the World Tree clone was rather shocked. It didn't expect that just as Shiyu told it about the Space Emperor, a beast tamer sent by the Space Emperor would appear. Who was Shiyu's friend who had the premonition? He was incredible. A disciple of the Space Emperor? It was unbelievable. Sensing the powerful aura of this long-haired mature sister and the Star Dragon beside her, the World Tree felt that their strength wasn't much inferior to Shiyu. What kind of existence had that Space Emperor become? The beast tamers of Donghuang were all monsters. Moreover, the World Tree also heard an important piece of news. After the mythical era ended, the gods who left the Blue Planet and settled in the universe had made significant breakthroughs, and some individuals even broke through to the super-divine level. The World Tree clone heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they weren't enemies. At the same time, the World Tree clone was excited and thrilled. Although it had some doubts about why these divine beings were doing well but were unwilling to bring back resources from the universe to help the Blue Planet recover quickly, it couldn't dwell on that now. As long as they still acknowledged their home planet, the World Tree clone felt content. "Welcome, children," the World Tree clone said happily. The beast tamer of the Star Dragon, the long-haired mature sister, smiled and said, "Lord Blue Planet, we brought for teleportation keystones this time. These keystones act as relic teleportation devices, allowing at least 4 individuals from the Blue Planet to enter another superplanet. When that time comes, our teacher and others will be waiting for you on that superplanet. More details might require you to communicate with them personally, Lord Blue Planet." "No problem," the World Tree clone said. "You've traveled a long way, and I appreciate your efforts. Let me take you to the Blue Planet first." The long-haired mature sister should be a figure similar to a captain. She looked at everyone and nodded. "Then I'll leave it to you, Lord Blue Planet. We spent several years on this voyage and consumed a lot of energy. We even sacrificed a teammate. There were a total of 5 of us at the start. Unfortunately, the representative of the Kirin race died in the starry sky because of a cosmic accident. Before we reach our restoration state, we might have to disturb the blue planet for a period of time before daring to return.